Well, lastly for our news, it is a topic solely for everyone in the universe not named me. I included this
Reluctantly.
one just for Josh, and I know people care about this one. And even as someone that actively hates this movie, I am happy with this news, believe it or not. I'm happy for all people involved because I still think it's pretty cool. And that is that apparently we're getting an anime adaptation of Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Cool for those that enjoy it. But more importantly, basically every single person from the movie is coming back for this animation. And I'm going, that's pretty cool too. I'm happy for all involved. I'm more just amazed that somehow, some way, you got everyone to come back for this. You somehow
Yeah.
had the budget for this because as much as I despise Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and again, it's everything to do with the main protagonist. The style is exceptional. Edgar Wright's directing is exceptional. But Scott Pilgrim is honestly the worst protagonist in movie history, and I despise everything about him. The movie's incredibly well casted with
Yeah.
on the cusp of being big someday actors. You've got
Yes.
honestly the best character in the entire movie, Chris Evans, right on the cusp of being the big name that he would be. Brie Larson, Brandon Routh, right in that very narrow window when his name actually meant something. I'm sorry, Brandon, that was mean. Michael Cera, yay. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Kieran Culkin before he got really big with Succession. Like
Yeah.
Edgar Wright was really ahead of the curve on that one. That he got that Culkin and not the other one. And the other one, there's 3 Culkins, I think.
Yes, there is. And Macaulay could
Macaulay
he's
is super cool now.
he's
Like
so cool.
I love seeing him on Red Letter Media. Also, as much as I don't like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, it does have one of my favorite jokes of all time. Hey, is Scott home? No, he just left. As he bails out the window. I'm going,
Oh,
that's
it's
a great
so
sight
good.
gag. But as someone that's a fan of the franchise, speak on behalf of the fandom of Scott Pilgrim. Josh, what does this news mean to you?
I am excited about it. I think especially if they go with the same type of art from the comic or from the game, I think it's exciting. It's a lot of fun. Having everybody reprise the roles, it's going to be cool. What I hope happens, and this is for you, Nate, is that they go with the book version of events and not with the comic book version of events and not the movie version of events, because they're very different. The whole thing that happens with Kim is in the books. They show and explain everything on why he ended up leaving and all that, and why, like, for better or for worse, it is him and Kim is an example of sometimes things just don't work. There's so much in the comic books that is so much better, and
There's a lot more material too. I know there's a bunch of books.
there's that as well. There's like 8, I think, total. The ending is way more satisfying. It does not end in the way that, well, I do think he does still end up with Ramona. The path to which they get there is way different than the movie, and I appreciate that a lot. I think while I agree in the first half of the movie, while Scott is all the way leading up to the kind of final confrontations, while Scott is genuinely not a good person, I think where he ends up in the end he is a better version of him, albeit that neither Ramona or Knives should have taken him back, but that's not the point, I guess.
Of
So
course,
he's
he
at
ends
least
up being
trying to
best
be-
friends with himself because that's the only person
Yes.
he cares about.
Yeah, there's that. But yeah, anyway, like I said, I hope they go off of the comic book version of events and not the movie version of events, so we can get multiple seasons. I just like anime in general, so like, yeah, let's bring it on.
It is Netflix, so don't get your hopes up for multiple seasons.
Fair.
From what I remember, one of your roommates in college was a huge Scott Pilgrim versus the World fan. So was it you
Weslow.
was it you or Neslo that had the comics?
Weslow.
That's what I thought. Because I remember
'cause
seeing some of those and seeing the artwork. So I think, especially the anime style, fits Scott Pilgrim so well. And the movie is already just a live action anime, and the over exaggeration of things, the living, breathing comic book panels, so to speak. I often say Aquaman is probably the most like comic book movie out there, but Scott Pilgrim probably has to be up there as well in terms of just like
absolutely.
it's literally recreating panels at times, or it just feels like you're reading seeing still images brought to life. Which is very cool artistic flair, but you can get away with that even more so with animation. So I think they'll get even more clever and wacky and more true to the source material. Like the movie is pretty good with it, but as much as people want to look down on animation, we keep tooting the horn of. I'll get to another point in just a second here. We keep tooting the horn of animation as an actual medium, and maybe someday we'll actually believe us. So the thought that I had is, there's a friend of ours. I'm trying to remember if he listens to the podcast or not, but he's kind of all ranting about people don't respect voice actors, to which I was agreeing with him at that point, to which he's just like, can you even name 5 voice actors? To which I'm off the top of your head without looking it up, and I'm just going, excuse me? I can name 25 to 30 voice actors off the top of my head without looking it up. Like, who do you think you are? Who do you think I am? I am. What's that bowling line? Who do you think you are? I am. Like, come on now. Everyone should know at least 5 to 10 voice actors. I think that should be the standard going forward in my book. But I'm not saying I'm looking forward to this, but I think the fans of the material are going to be looking forward to this. So in that sense, I'm happy for them. Good for you. I'm glad when fans of certain material have something to look forward to. I think that's super cool.